I got good news and better news. What's up, YouTube? So in the last few videos that I've made, I've always had good news and bad news, but today I actually have good news and better news. So before we get into that, I just want to go over a few things that I've done here in the last couple of weeks, just to kind of catch up to everything. I am behind on the egg cutting videos and the ball python update videos. I haven't edited them. They're just so I'm just going to be posting them one each a week until I catch up. So there's not going to be a break on Wednesdays or Thursdays for a couple weeks. I think next week might be the last week where I do that, just to catch up, and then after that it'll be back to regular schedule based off when the clutches hatch. I do have 2 more clutches left to hatch for this year, and I have 3 females that I've paired. So paired the Super Enchi, and she stopped letting my male lock about a month ago. Paired the Pied Het Albino. They stopped locking about May. So it's been about 3 months and she hasn't gave us any, it's been about 3 months and she hasn't gave us any eggs. So I'm assuming that she's probably not going to go for us. If she does, I'll be surprised. And then the double het Pied Lab, I showed you in the last update video that she was still being locked up to the Pastel Lab Het Pied. So we'll see what happens there. And then the ball python season is practically coming to an end. I have 2 more clutches of bearded dragon's eggs due to hatch, and from the looks of it, no more females are going to be laying, and that'll be the end of the bearded dragon year as well. So as far as things go, both bearded dragon and ball pythons are done for the year, unless some of them decide to lay later in the year, which can happen. But as far as pairing, no more pairing except for the double het dreamsicle female, because she is still locking up. So until she's done locking, I'll keep pairing. But everybody else is practically done locking. Nobody else is even wanting to do anything. So that's it for the season, with the exception of 4 more clutches, 2 bearded dragon, 2 ball pythons, 4 more clutches hatching. I have nothing else happening this year. So it's going to be mainly just making videos about my day-to-day activities. I also want to make a video about going to pet stores and stuff like that, and showing you things that I find weird, maybe the things that I see that are good, as far as for a reptile enthusiast or reptile collector or owner point of view, because there are a lot of things out there that, doesn't really jive with me as far as what they market for reptiles. Then I also want to make some videos where I go to other people's collections, bearded dragon collections, ball python collections, even other reptiles, monitors, tegus, and stuff like that, and see how they are doing, what they hope to accomplish, check out some cool animals, and go from there. But today, the good news. So it's funny because as soon as I say the good news, I hear scratching like somebody's trying to dig. So I just said that my female bearded dragons are done laying, but one sounds like she is scratching at a corner. So let me check that out real quick. So false alarm, she was just scratching because she just wants to go to sleep. So I checked her belly, no eggs. So good, still on track with being done for the rest of the year. So this year I was looking at the records, and I've actually produced maybe 140 baby bearded dragons, and that's not counting the 2 clutches that are left to hatch. And I've produced, I think it was 36 or something ball pythons. Maybe it was more. I can't remember the exact number, but maybe it was. I'm pretty sure it was more, actually. I'll put the right number on the screen. I've produced this many ball pythons. I'll put it like right here in this general location. So pretty good year, pretty good season so far for me. I still have probably about 50, 60 bearded dragon eggs, or 50, 60 bearded dragon babies left to sell, and about 20 ball python babies left to sell based off what I've produced. Like I said, there's still 2 clutches left. So far so good. That's the good news. The good news is everything's been going pretty smoothly as far as the season goes, as far as the sales go. And even the people on my members, my Patreon, you guys have been supporting me like crazy. I don't have many members on YouTube or Patreon, but I can say that I have a handful of people that are supporting me like no one else is supporting me. So I think I have 4 members on YouTube, and I want to thank all 4 members. I'm not going to tell you who they are because it doesn't really matter. Y'all know who you are, and I thank you for supporting me. And my Patreon members, I thank you for supporting me as well. I got about 5 of those. So if you haven't checked out my Patreon yet, go do that. I have a video that I'm recording here soon, building a PVC enclosure. It's going to be a 4x2x2, which works for bearded dragons and ball pythons. So if you are looking to build an enclosure out of PVC and you don't want to buy one, DIY is obviously the way to go. So that'll be coming on my Patreon. That's going to be the next video that I post on my Patreon and my YouTube membership. So for $5, you get to watch the video. So that's it, $5, and you get to watch a video to possibly save you hundreds of dollars. So my memberships aren't to be gouging people, aren't to be making money. It's literally to make people save money on other things. So if you haven't already, go check out my Patreon and my YouTube membership and sign up if you can. Better news or greater news or whatever you want to call it, even better, even gooder news. So I send off a shed. Now it's not the shed to the banana het pied. She still hasn't shed. She's literally in shed right now as we speak. So I sent off a shed for a different snake. This snake, so before I give it away, it's not good news or bad news technically yet, because the better news is just the fact that I sent the shed out. So let me pull her out. So I don't think I've shown off this snake yet, but this is a leopard pinstripe pastel, so a leopard lemon blast VPI xanthic. And I purchased her as, technically I purchased her as 50% het pied, but it was because the seller didn't really know that it was a 66% het pied, mainly because of the fact that that's what they were sold as. So the seller told me that they purchased it as 50% het pied, and the clutch that she came from also had a pied snake in it. So I was like, well, that's not possible for it to be 50% het pied. It has to be 66% het pied. That's the only way a visual pied could come out of the clutch. So I got her as a 66% het pied, but I tested her just so I could be certain that I knew what I was going to be pairing her with. So if she is 100% het pied, I actually wanted to pair her to, obviously, my pied het xanthic. So I have a fire pastel pied het xanthic that I want to pair her to. I don't want to pair her to my pinstripe pied het xanthic, mainly because she is pinstripe, and I don't want any more super pinstripe possible super pinstripes in my collection, because I already have two of them. I have two pinstripe, possible super pinstripe xanthic pieds females right now, so I was trying to get something extra so I could use for them that isn't actually pie or pinstripe. So that's why I want to pair this to the fire pastel pied het VPI xanthic. So if you can see, I'm not sure how well the camera picks it up, she is super dark. She's almost like a purple color, maroon color, if you will, and that has to do with the leopard and the pinstripe. And then the pastel makes it to where, because normally a leopard pinstripe is very dark brown, the xanthic would make it more of a dark purple, but the pastel actually brought out this nice lilac color, I guess you can call it, down her spine, down her dorsal. I don't know how well you can see that, but it looks pretty good. She's growing really well. When I got her, she was about 600 grams, and that was probably 2-3 months ago, and she's already up to 900 grams, possibly closer to 1,000, because I haven't weighed in about 2 weeks. So yeah, I tested her, and I got the results back 2 days ago, and the only thing I can say is I have this index card right here that I use on all my snakes. They all say what their genetics are, and this index card right here is saying that she's het pied, baby. Yeah! So het pied. So she is a leopard pastel pinstripe, 100% het pied. So she is a visual VPI xanthic, 100% het pied, which is great. Which means that all the babies that I get out of her pairings are going to be 100% het pied and 100% het xanthic, and at least a quarter of them should be double visual because of the male that I'm pairing her to. She's trying to leave me. So 100% het pied. Now I'm going to put her little index card in her slot, and then I'll put her back as well. That's the better news, and I guess I'll show you the male that I'm planning on pairing her to. That way you can get an idea. So this is the male. Like I said, pied. He's a fire pastel, het VPI xanthic. I got him from Aussie. So super nice male. already ready to breed, just waiting for the season to start and waiting for the females. So I actually plan on pairing him to 2 females. So this year I proved out another female. She was a super pinstripe, possible super pinstripe, but I'm pretty sure she's a super pinstripe because every baby came out as pinstripe. Paired a super pinstripe to super pinstripe exanthic VPI, 66% het pied, to a pinstripe pied het exanthic VPI, and all the babies came out pinstripe, which is a chance that could have happened anyways because the male was also a pinstripe. So that's another reason why I want to pair that female to him, because if all the babies come out pinstripe again, then that means that she is in fact a super pinstripe. So I don't want to pair that same female to the pinstripe male because I don't want that to happen again. And then I'm like, well, is she a super pinstripe or is she not? So that is the reason why this guy's getting paired to her. And he's also getting paired to the leopard pastel pinstripe, just to add fire to that, and possibly get some super pastels. So the thing is, so fire pieds are usually high white. You can see he only has 2 patches there. And pinstripe pieds are low white. So obviously I wanted to cancel each other out and kind of get a medium white. But it can happen either way. I've seen fire pieds with a lot of pattern, and I've seen pinstripe pieds with not as much pattern as I usually get them. So hopefully I get some good babies out of that. And I'll probably hold back some males so I can pair to my pinstripe exanthic pied females that I got this year. So now, before I end this video, let me put this guy back. Before I end this video, don't forget to smash that like button, okay? All right, so before I end this video, for sure, this is the last thing I want to say. I want to give a huge shout out to Charlie at Gray Rider Reptiles. That's who actually did my shed test. So obviously, a lot of people can get them from RGI. So RGI, they do it as well, but you always want to support the little guy, the underdog, and why not? So he was actually having a sale. So this is the only way I found out about him. So I kind of already knew that he was doing it, but I've never actually followed him on Instagram or anything like that. And I followed him probably 2 or 3 days before he did that sale, and something like that. Maybe that was the timeline. Maybe it was like a week before he did the sale. But he did a sale where he said all of my pied and a few other tests were $40. And I was like, $40? RGI is charging $65. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to try it out, because worst thing that could happen is the results are inconclusive or anything like that. And then, you know, that's just how it goes. I had my faith, and I've seen other people use him, and I was like, you know what? Let's go and try it out. So I bought 4 tests. One for the leopard pastel pinstripe 66% het pied. I have 2 clown 66% het pied females that I want to test. And obviously the banana het pied that I didn't get any pied visuals from, I wanted to test her too. So just today, I sent one of the shed tests for clown 66% het pied. We'll get that back here probably Saturday. Today is Monday when I'm recording this. And God, there's flies in here bugging the heck out of me. So yeah, that's the one thing about a reptile building. There's always flies or gnats or something in there because of everything that you have in there. And the heat also attracts it. So hopefully I get the results back this weekend. So with the leopard pastel pinstripe, I sent the shed test. I sent the shed Monday. It probably got there Wednesday or Thursday, if I remember correctly. And by Saturday, like early afternoon, he had the results. And he sent me a message. He said, hey, literally the message said, leopard pastel pinstripe VPI exanthic het pied. And I was like, what? That's dope. So I didn't really even care if there was like an official form or anything like that. As soon as he said het pied, I was done for. I was like, that's exactly what I wanted. So obviously, the purpose of a shed test, besides the fact that, you know, you get the results back of 100% het or not 100% het, it also gives you an idea of what your project should be like. Because if she actually ended up not being het pied, I would have paired her to something that gave me better chances of something else. So I was actually, I know this is going to sound ridiculous, but I actually wanted to pair her. If she ended up being het pied, I actually wanted to pair her to my mahogany pied. And I know it has been 100% double hets, and that's fine. But I really wanted to get mahogany, another darkening gene, into my VPI exanthic project. And I know a lot of people are like, oh, you shouldn't just keep adding dark genes to your Xanthic project because it's going to cancel each other out and it's just going to look like a black and white snake anyways. But mahogany is not just black. You know, obviously if you go super mahogany, that's a black snake. But mahogany is brown, and this is nice golden brown. And it doesn't fade like other browns do in other snakes. Like, for example, pinstripe pieds, they start off like a golden color, and then they start kind of like doling out and turning into like, honestly, I don't even want to say it, but they almost turn like a like not good brown. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's weird. So actually, you know what? I'll just show you one. All right, so this is a pinstripe pied, and I mean it's a lot of yellow on this pied, and that's kind of what happened. The golden brown turned into like yellows, and like I don't even know what to call that color, but it's not brown anymore. It's almost like, it's hard to say, but yeah. So it's not as good as they hatch out versus this guy. So there you go. There's the difference. Hopefully it shows how well the difference is, because there's a definitive difference between the two snakes. Obviously one gives you high white or high pattern snakes, and the other one's kind of all over the place. So yeah, and he's actually going into shed, so this is not even his true color. But these browns are just so nice. Like, look at that brown and look at this brown. Obviously this one's a nicer brown than this brown, and from what I've noticed, I got him pretty young, and he actually has darkened up quite a bit around the saddles as he's gotten older, versus this guy's lightened up around the saddles as he's gotten older. So in my opinion, the mahogany gene is a nicer brown gene than the pinstripe gene. And honestly, there's other brown genes out there, brown morphs, especially with pied. But mahogany, in my opinion, seems to be very good. And I'm just throwing this out there. I actually plan on pairing him to a blackhead pied Mojave. So maybe I get some nice things out of there. Blackhead mahoganies, that's two dark genes, and Mojave, you know, we'll see what happens, but I'm kind of excited about that. So that's let's say that's where I end my video today. Don't want to give too much of my future away, but before I get off, this is the last time I'm doing this. Before I get off, again, a huge shout out to Charlie at Gray Rider Reptiles. I'm actually going to, as I'm talking, I'm going to show you a clip of me going over his website and showing you what tests he does have available. But this guy, super nice, straight to the point. There's no dallying around or anything like that. Let me put this guy back. He's moving too much. Straight to the point, and I had no issues whatsoever. He told me the day that he got the shed test in the mail, and then he said, I'll have it to you within 48 hours, and that was it. 48 hours. Probably, I think it might have been like 40 hours later, because he got it around mid-afternoon, and then by early afternoon, he had that test already. So maybe like 46, 44 hours or so is how long it took. I did ask around other people that have used them, and they said anywhere from 24 to 48 hours, which is what I got. So that's exactly what I got. Couldn't be happier. And he was having a sale, $40 a piece. That's a no-brainer. So in my opinion, 4 tests for $160 versus, you know, if I did 4 tests using RGI, it would have been what? $260. So save me $120. That's pretty good. So I think that's right. My math might not be right. I don't know. Maybe I had a brain fart, but yeah. So super nice guy, super thorough, super quick, and I plan to use him in the future. And if you need any shed test and you are debating whether you want to use RGI, try to use Charlie. He's a lot cheaper, not significantly cheaper. It's like $10. Depending on if he's having a sale, it could be $25. So anywhere from $10 to $25 cheaper than RGI. And I'm not dogging on anybody. You can use RGI if you want. That's what you prefer. That's how you feel. That's fine. But I'm saying Charlie, smaller breeder, smaller person. He's doing this out of nowhere. I mean, I was talking to him. He's like, I mean, it's hard to do this because I don't have a biology degree or anything like that. I'm not a geneticist. I don't know what I'm doing. I had to learn this. and now I've gotten the hang of it, and nobody shares their trade secrets, and nobody tries to help you. So he had to do this on his own, and he's killing it. So go support him. Go give him some love on Instagram. I think that's, maybe he's on Facebook too. I'm not sure. I haven't seen him on Facebook, but definitely go find him on Instagram. Gray Rider Reptiles. I'll put a screenshot of his Instagram right here. But go check him out. As always, if you made it this far into the video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss anything that I put out in the future. And as always, peace.